Drake, I got a few questions for you, and we're going to touch base, like I said, on kind of the work that you're doing, to get ready for these camps and get ready for the season. And really, just the first question is can you walk a typical routine that you have, whether it's a daily routine when you work out or go training, or it's a weekly focus, what kind of works for you?
I typically stick to a daily routine. I stick to the same routine and do it every day. So luckily the place I work at, the owner's a very gracious man. So he
Yeah,
he lets me work out up there and use the facility whenever. So I'll start out with, I try to hit 100 balls every day. Cause I mean,
hmm
the more swings you get, the more, comfortable you'll become with your swing. And,
yeah,
and then after I take some swings, I'll do some fielding. I try to stick with just the simple stuff, hand progressions.
hmm
Because last year, I kind of developed a bad habit of, I wouldn't watch the ball all the way into the glove on every ground ball, which is, it's simple, but it's
yeah,
something I just had to work on. So just do hand progressions, and then I try to take some ground balls, every day. If
yeah,
we got a little mini machine up there, and someone could feed it, and I just take some ground balls, and after that, I try to stick with just some throwing. And but
yeah,
I make sure I do the same thing every day, because I don't really like to switch it up. I don't know.
yep,
That's just how I've always been. But and then after, I'll do all the hitting and all that stuff, all the baseball stuff, and generally I'll go and I'll lift for a couple hours, and I stick to the same routine with that. I try to
yeah,
do,
yeah.
but I do just a lot of explosive work. But
Mhm. Yeah, I think
yeah.
it comes down a lot of it to consistency, right? And sticking to what's working. And if you find that you have an opportunity to work on, or something that, like you said, you noticed something that you were doing last year that you can work on now. It's about being consistent
Mhm.
in that approach, eh? So, no, right
No,
on.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you balance, like, the your physical training with, like, the mental prep for the tryouts, right? Because a lot of it is just waiting, right? You've been working all winter from last summer till now, and
Mhm.
you got a camp next week in Little Elm, Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And there's a turnout from multiple independent league teams that are going to be there, American Association, Pioneer League, and various other scouts and teams are going to be there. So yeah, how do you kind of balance yourself when it comes to that approach?
Uh, I think they kind of go hand in hand, but the mental preparation honestly is probably the most important thing, because I mean, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of skill, but what's in between the ears is probably the most important thing, especially with
Hmm.
baseball. Like we all know, it's extremely mental game. So,
Yeah,
the mental preparation I take very seriously. So, while I work out, I listen to a little bit of music, but I usually listen to like people like Michael Jordan and like Kobe
hmm,
Bryant on like YouTube. People that like, they dominated their game at like the
yeah,
highest level. So, there's a lot of videos on YouTube of them talking about like their perspective and how they approach the game. And, I try to like, kind of tailor my mindset to that. And
yeah,
it really does help. But, I make sure I take both of them into account, and,
hmm,
just as seriously as I take the physical training, I'll take the mental preparation just as
yeah,
seriously, because,
yeah.
yeah, it's crucial.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when it comes to those, I think you touched on a few of those specific drills, but is there something, like, if from a hitting perspective, what would a typical Wednesday be like if you were hitting in the cage, or hitting off a tee or something like that? What are you focusing on?
I really focus on a lot of T work, because I
Mhm.
mean, T work is, the most simple thing, and, it's kind of where you build a swing. So what I typically do is, I'll start with like, I'll do a quick warm up. I'll do like 8 warm up swings, and then I'll go straight into like single hand work. Because another issue I was having last year is, I would pull off the ball, and like I'd
Mhm.
manipulate the count and get the pitch I was looking for, and then I'd foul it straight back. And I was like, because I was just pulling my head just a little bit. So I like to work
Yeah,
on a lot of single hand work. Make sure I work on bottom hand a lot, and just make
yeah,
sure I stay inside the ball and drive the ball the opposite way. And then so that's one thing I really, really work on, and make sure I keep my head down. because I mean, if you pull your head, you're gonna pull your shoulders, and you're gonna pull your
Mhm.
bat. So I just try to focus on like the very simple things, and then after I do some single hand work, I'll do a lot of low and away tee work, because I
Mhm.
think low and away is like the perfect pitch. If you can master that, then you'll be in good shape, because you can't pull your
Yeah.
head, you can't do any of that stuff. You gotta have very good mechanics. So I'll do a lot of single hand work. That's the most important thing for me. Gives me a
Mhm.
good feel for my swing. And then for fielding, yeah, just the hand progressions, because I just got to
Yeah.
watch the ball all the way into my hands,
Yeah.
and really work on going through the ball and make sure, just like hitting specific swing path,
Yeah.
uh, there's a specific like kind of hand path with fielding. You don't want to go up,
Mhm.
you want to go out.
Yeah.
So you want to go right back to the ball. So yeah, just work on the fundamentals, the very, very
Right
simple
on.
things.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds simple, but you watch those guys on TV and they make it look so easy, right? And
Yeah.
but there's so many pieces that are in play. Like just a swinging the bat, right? It's more like rocket science now than anything, right? When it should just be
Yeah.
natural. But
Yeah.
that's a whole different story, right?
Hmm.
Um, but last question, Drake, and I know it's been an honor, getting to know you and seeing what you're working on, how you're getting ready for these camps, and I know a lot. You've been through the independent game. You've spent a couple years in the Pecos League, and you're ready to get to that next level. And for other people watching, who knows? Who knows how many other baseball players are watching, or athletes, or anybody. But if you could share any tips or advice for someone that's watching,
Hmm.
what would you say to them?
Uh, Honestly, I would just say, just work as hard as you possibly can. I know it sounds very like cliche, but I mean, like, it's seriously, you get out what you put in. So I mean, if you put in the work, you'll get the results that you want. And at the gym I go to, there's this old dude I always talk to, and he's like 80, but he has a good quote that he told me the other day. He said, the harder you work, the luckier you get." So I mean,
Yeah,
there's a little bit of truth to that, but yeah, I would just say, just always look for tryouts too, because
yeah,
um, you never know what's going to happen, so just keep working hard, and when an opportunity comes up, you'll be prepared if you're working hard. So always look
absolutely.
for these tryouts, and take a chance on yourself, like, because you never know what's going to happen, so
It's awesome,
uh
man.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
trust yourself and believe in yourself, man. That's
exactly.
that's really what
Uh,
it's about. And
yeah, that's the key.
you know,
That's the key.
yeah, you got talent, you work hard, and those yeah, that's a great quote because
Mhm.
if you put the work in, you're gonna get lucky, right?
Yeah,
Everything you
exactly.
put forth is gonna come through fruition, right? So
Mhm.
no, right on, Drake. Thanks for your time, man, and all the best. Keep us posted on what's going on next week, and appreciate your time today, buddy. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it, Devin. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
See you, man.